We have yet another possible major bombshell in the Trump-Russia scandal. U.S., European, and Arab officials are telling the Washington Post that the UAE arranged a secret meeting in January between Blackwater founder Erik Prince, who happens to be the brother of Trump Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos, and a Russian close to Vladimir Putin to establish a back-channel line of communication between Moscow and President-elect Trump. The meeting took place around January 11th, 9 days before the inauguration, in the Seychelles Islands in the Indian Ocean. It's not clear what was discussed, but the UAE agreed to broker the meeting, in part to explore whether Russia could be persuaded to curtail its relationship with Iran, including in Syria, and also to look at reducing American sanctions on Russia. This once again correlates precisely with the publicly known timeline of events about the Trump-Russia scandal. Blackwater's Erik Prince, as we've heard from Sean Spicer, had no formal role in the Trump campaign, but he reportedly presented himself as an unofficial envoy for Trump to high-ranking Emiratis involved in setting up this meeting with the Putin confidant. And once again, Erik Prince was a major donor to Trump and is the brother of Betsy DeVos, who we were wondering, you've got this completely unqualified person nominated to Secretary of Education. We know that her family has donated a lot of money. And oh, by the way, it's now alleged that her brother was involved in creating back channels directly between the Trump team and Vladimir Putin. This sheds a lot of light on what Betsy DeVos was doing there. And it is yet another piece in the growing web of connections between Trump and Russia. Now, Sean Spicer was asked about this, Pat. What did Sean Spicer say? Meaningless answer. Quote, "We are not aware of any meetings, and Erik Prince had no role in the transition." Number one, there are many meetings which have been proven to have taken place that Sean Spicer has denied being aware of. So that tells us zero. And number two, nobody's saying that Erik Prince had a formal role in the transition. I mean, at this point, we can't believe a word Sean Spicer says.
We certainly can't. I mean, I'm just kind of concerned that this roundabout means of communication is enough to create some sort of plausible deniability, because it's not as if Trump and Putin were directly communicating, it seems.
Yeah.
So we have to see if his top campaign officials were in contact. And oftentimes, as we've learned from Watergate, the cover-up could be more indicative of wrongdoing than the actual crime itself.
You're not wrong, but I'm struggling to see how we can have this much smoke without eventually finding fire. This is yet another once-removed connection, and I know what you're saying, Pat, about plausible deniability, but we're talking about a once-removed connection between the Secretary of Education and Russia, which is another angle. Are there any Trump cabinet members either who are not either directly or at most with one layer of separation connected to Russia? And there's another connection here. Remember that story from a week or two ago about the Alpha Bank server connecting to a Trump organization server and to a server owned by the DeVos family-run company Spectrum, which is a medical facility chain led by Betsy DeVos's husband? At the time, we were sort of confused, like, okay, the Russian bank server was connecting to a Trump organization server, but then second on the list was a server owned by Spectrum, this company that is run by Betsy DeVos's husband. This could also start to explain that. It is yet another link in these previously unexplained links between Trump, Russia, and really, really sketchy companies. This is an insane amount of smoke where the Trump administration continues to insist there's no fire whatsoever.
And I'm sure Trump would be more than willing to fire Betsy DeVos if he has to and just blame the whole thing on her, as he did with Michael Flynn.
Yes, which hopefully will backfire in terms of Flynn if he does indeed end up testifying to what it is that he knows. We don't know if he will. This is crazy, folks. This is growing by the day. You can discuss this with me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at @DPakman. The show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show.